Alright, so now we're back in World 4, so I can finally show off what is one of them, if not probably the most infamous outfit in the game.
So I take it you're probably going to show audiences why you didn't use this the first time we got there.
Box
Ladies
Fox.
and gentlemen, the Box Fox.
So what does the Box Fox do? Allows the wearer to transform into an invincible box. Here's the problem. The costume transforms between Fox and Box when it feels like it. Try sliding while in box form to break some objects you normally wouldn't. Here's the problem though, Shiroi. Not only is this thing useless because it only activates whenever it feels like it, but if you're walking while it turns itself into a box, it will slide according to your momentum, meaning you can actually veer off a platform and die with this outfit.
So here's the thing.
Yes.
It's meant to be the joke item. Unfortunately, due to the quality of the game,
It's not
none of
very
us
funny.
are laughing.
Yeah.
Let me put it like this. Putting a
Usually
joke
jokes
item
are supposed to
in a
be
game
funny,
this-
so...
Let me put it like this. Putting a joke item in a game this bad, that's just kicking a man while he's down, honestly. Because
Think of it as Sleek Kirby.
okay,
That's
that being
the joke
said,
power-up.
funnily enough, for some reviewers, the Fox Box was the most useful item to use against the final boss, funnily enough.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, just to show off stuff, as you can see for those foxes over there, they're hinting at me that the only way I can defeat these particular Nagati is by using the Fox Box. Meaning, okay, here we go. Remember, I have to wait until the outfit feels like it.
Come on!
Come on! Yes! One!
Oh wait, no wait. Gotta stay away.
Okay. Yeah,
And that's the thing. Oh, so Dad, here's the problem with this being a joke item. It still is required to use. Normally, the idea of a joke item is that it's not required.
Was the Tim preventing you from moving forward there?
no.
Oh, okay.
There you go. By killing all those 3 of those enemies, I win a Balan statue.
You can see why Pedro didn't bother doing this on his main run of the level, because you can easily die from this power-up and lose a lot of progress
You got
because of it.
102 of these statues.
Well, remember, Deji, the minimum number is like 120. So,
Yeah.
What's the maximum?
221, I think. I forgot. Not that I'm doing this. If you think I'm doing 100% of this, you're fucking crazy.
So,
Well, I
Dej,
paid you.
Yes, Jova?
How much? Dej, would you be willing to do the third X stages if you got this game?
You know what? Sure, and I'll invite you to the commentary as well.
Sure, why not? I mean, look, honestly, like I said, for as terrible as this game is, and it is terrible, it's fun to tear to shreds.
Exactly. Okay.
Okay. I think I found the perfect way to compare this to Mighty Number 9. Mighty Number 9 is like somebody just wailing on you, absolutely thrashing you for like, say, 2 hours or something. You will feel the pain immediately and horribly as they beat you to a bloody pulp. This is sort of the opposite. It delivers the same, if not more, amount of pain, but in a more subtle way. This is like if, say, you get a paper cut. Oh, that's a bit of an inconvenience and it hurts a bit, but it's just
Java,
a
let
paper
me
cut.
just introduce the stage. Chapter 10, The Artist with Painter's Block.
That is literally all there is to it. Thanks, title.
There you go. That's our dilemma for the day, everybody. An artist has painter's block.
Again, this
Whatever
is
we
after...
do.
Mind you, this is after the level about the girl who lost her entire family. Oh, and also the clown who just couldn't bother to ask a girl out.
It'd be like if in Ace Attorney, case 2-5 was only like the second to last case of the second game, but then the next case after that was like case 3 of the first game.
This is just a problem in general with Balan Wonderworld. There's no sense of pattern whatsoever. Like, there's no constant sense of growing scale with the levels and their problems. There's no sense of, well, okay, I guess there's a sense of increasing difficulty with the levels, but all the same, that can just be annoying overall.
I mean,
like,
compare this to...
Wonderworld,
Sorry. No, go ahead and finish.
Wonderworld feels like a game made without restraint, and it's literally just them throwing ideas at the wall Okay, let me put it like this. It's like if Picasso didn't have a method to his madness with his paintings, since we're on a painter's level, might as well reference painters.
It's not only just that. Like there are even if the pacing was better, there are storylines in these levels that are flat out unimpressive and flat out impossible to get attached to. Also, with this outfit, I can get this thing with sequence break the game and get this statue in a way that it's not meant to. Like an artist with painter's block. That's not a very impressive dilemma for you to scale. Okay, let me. Let's take a look. Let's think a bit about the dilemmas of, say, something like Ni no Kuni 2, where we start with a kingdom. Of course, we start with, Evan getting his kingdom stolen from him. After that, we get
Goldpaw being murdered.
Yeah, but after that, we also get Goldpaw, which is under political turmoil because there's underhanded criminal robbery afoot. Then we have in Andropolis, where there's a fairy tale style tragedy of this queen who wants to be with her beloved but cannot, because if she does, she would destroy her entire kingdom. She has to basically choose between her love and her kingdom. So you always go on and make sure the level of tragedy is on par with each of the others to make sure things don't seem unimpressive. This, on the other hand, we literally go, like Jova said, we go from a girl that lost her cat or lost her family or whatever it is to an artist that has painter's block. Or a chess champion that lost one match and he went full Seto Kaiba and went through an existential crisis. Like,
well, okay, I guess at least you didn't.
I have a better idea. How about we just try escalating it with each level instead of like some.
Well, yeah, that's what Jova said.
That's exactly my point, Dedge.
Yeah. Okay, so hold on, let me explain this. This is the X-ray ape. E allows it to see invisible platforms, and that's about it. Keep going.
Ooh, but honestly, you know what? Like, okay, as I've mentioned, the girl from the cat chapter, in the novel, she is a character who ties into several of these worlds, being the princess that the clown is in love with, and her cat sort of being the reason that the woman from Chapter 8's parents died because they veered the car off to avoid hitting the cat, which then led to their deaths and whatnot.
I like to assume that girl was older and they didn't act unintentionally write pedophilia into this game.
Like, okay. The
you
novel,
can't reach that?
With that he can. Basically, the novel explains that time travel apparently takes a hand here. Essentially, man, I can't even remember the character's name even though I've looked into the novel. That's how memorable this whole thing is. Even with the actual story, it's not that memorable.
Oh, here you go. Speaking of painting, look at that. A canvas. So maybe this outfit that's over here has something to do with it? Let's see.
Wonder.
Let's get a key and let's see what this is. The Inky Blaster. Splatoon. Yes.
Hey, Shiroi, we
so
can
Inky Blaster.
in this game.
With Inky Blaster, you can shoot ink on the canvas to activate some kind of thing in the room.
Oh my
Hey,
God.
you don't know it's Splatoon. This could be the Blob reference.
What was that, Shiroi?
No, it's just yeah.
But yeah, though, I mean,
It's a squid.
okay. So,
Yes, Shuri?
yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right, Shiroi. It is a squid kid.
Yeah, it is. Well, yeah, in this case, Leon is indeed a squid kid, yes.
But yeah, seriously though, imagine a better sense of progression in this one. Like, okay, for the sake of it, we could maybe keep the farmer in the first one here, but maybe move the girl and her dolphin one up to like the final phase, which literally involves death. And I kid you not, what is technically the final world, chapter 12, that should have gone like in like the first tier of ones with how mundane that problem is.
Let me guess. Let me guess. The final level, it just turns out, is about some rich CEO who lost like $1 million out of like a $60 billion fortune or something.
No, it's an old man. It's an old man who's trying to pick up the garbage to put in the trash can, but people keep throwing more garbage into the street, and that makes him sad.
Apparently,
That's it.
Yep, that's it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, to go off my analogy earlier. I mean, imagine it playing out in an actual Ace Attorney game, Mr. Wright. I know you've been suffering over the last few days after the aftermath of your best friend being kidnapped and having to defend a monster of a client.
All right. If I'm going to say something positive,
But I must ask you this: can you defend some Hollywood guy?
all right, for the sake of saying something
That
positive,
only works if it's a DLC case, but go
Yes,
on,
Pedro?
Pedro.
much like stage 3, this stage is actually very thematically appropriate. The entire stage runs around painting gimmicks. You know, like we just literally used one of those things as a platform. You know, we have canvases all over the place. So unlike some of the other worlds we've been to, the theme of the actual level fits the storyline. So that's I know that that's not something that I should be praising, but but not every world in this game fits the storyline thematically. So
Well, honestly, Pedro, you bring up a good point, though. That's a sad thing, because, again, how this game does occasionally do its theming very well, even incorporating elements into the level and gameplay, does show, again, a lot of the hints of a pretty good game to be there, because,
yeah,
I mean, it's not something necessarily to be celebrated, but it's surprisingly not a thing a lot of games do. Oh, don't get me wrong, there are games that do it, but it's not always you can say that story affects even the gameplay. Well, you know, obvious examples like Ace Attorney aside.
well, Ace Attorney is all about the story anyway. All right, another balance bout. Let's go.
Ooh.
All right, and now it's time for once again for you to watch me break shit you don't know what the hell it is.
I'd rather see you fight Lance. At least those have you engaging with the main bad guy.
Too bad. I'm going to destroy these things that I don't even know what they are. Seriously, I still have no idea what the...
No, great. That means it's useless again.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh, it's a good thing that I don't care. Moving on.
I mean, okay, the completionist in you would hate that.
Well, Jova, fortunately, unlike Gerard, I know how to tell my inner completionist to calm the fuck down and go back inside. So, it's not... So...
You need to do a 100% run through of Persona 5.
No, thank you. Those games go for like 200 hours if you're trying to...
Can you imagine if they had the goal to lock the true ending behind gathering every single trophy in this game?
Thank you, game, for that shot of Balan's crouch. I totally wanted to see that.
Yeah, that was an awkward camera angle if ever I've seen one.
Yeah, the joke is too easy to make. So, okay, is this like Knights how we're technically playing as the children who's controlling Balan, or...
I don't know, the game never fucking explains anything.
All it says is just that he lends them his power.
No, he did Mario Nair in the air. I mean, Aerial.
Yes.
Nair.
Complete with the...
Remember, when we first go into the first Remember, when we go into the first Balan's bout, Balan specifically said, use my power well and I will reward you. So supposedly we're controlling Balan somehow, but maybe it's like in Knights, like Veggie said, but again, I don't know!
You know, I wouldn't complain too much about Balan's lack of character, except there's going to be a story cutscene that clearly wants us to care about Balan.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just going to spoil the plot right now. And Pedro, this is where you put truck noises.
Or maybe you could just not spoil it so I don't have to do extra work. How's about that?
Yeah, come on, Dedge. Give Pedro's wrists a break.
No, my wrists are fine. It's just that, you know, I'm already lazy enough as it is, Dedge. Don't make things harder on me. Come on.
Woo! And now we have a perspective flip. You see, just like in that special art dungeon where the stairs flip perspective.
We're almost done with the game anyway, Dedge. Don't worry, we're almost there.
I wasn't going to spoil. I was just doing that as a joke, as a gag.
Sure. Alright, I think one of those, like a kind of gigantic paintbrush thing So yeah, again, I at the very least appreciate the appropriate theming, which is more than what I can say for the world of the little girl with the cat, where it's a clock that has nothing to do with the actual storyline.
Well, okay, technically that has to do with the thing that time is running out, and it's all a bit of a heat of the moment sort of thing.
There's a painter.
As they do show with the traffic lights as well in her levels here and there, and how for her time froze when she thought her cat died.
I guess, but the game does such a poor job in making that clear.
I agree, which is again a shame because going off of the novel, she's supposed to be one of the actual main characters. But yeah, apparently her presence shows that time.
Fun fact: if you throw ink at a collectible, you'll be able to collect it. So I'm trying to use the ink to collect that statue. Unfortunately, the ink doesn't quite go far enough.
Hey, something I've just thought about actually.
Yes, Dwebs?
Hold on, can I?
Go ahead, Jova.
Right, to finish my thoughts, yeah, again, it's weird because in the novel, it's mentioned that she is connected to all of that, but not so much here. Well, okay, basically her presence confirms that time travel is apparently a component of this world here, in the sense that she shows up when she was a child, even though we know that in the...
Wait, why weren't you walking?
I'm waiting for the platform to be in the right position, Dej. Like that.
Yep. To get another balanced bout.
Yay!
Well,
you done? You done, Jova? Oh, there's a lance one, Jova. You done, Jova?
But again, yeah. The whole thing is that time travel is an element of the theater. Even though technically she is trapped in here, she must have gotten out at some point, in order for her to be the woman that the clown guy pines after.
Mm-hmm.
It just gives people more of a headache, given the point that these people are supposed to be trapped, but...
Alright, go.
Quirky?
I guess. Alright, Dubs, go on.
You know what I've said before in regards to my opinions on, story in games?
Go ahead.
Yes.
I get the feeling that Yuji Naka was trying to be on my wavelength, but he got it mixed up.
The gameplay needs to actually be good?
Well, not just that, but when I talk about story in games, I meant to make the gameplay more important than just having a decent story, not reduce the story to barely anything.
And that's the thing, Yuji Naka supposedly did research on how to make a story for this game, because Square told him, Naka, you need to include a story.
What storybook did he read? The guide to script writing by Skippy.
That's why I really...
What was that one he mentioned reading, Pedro?
I'm sorry, Jova, could you run me by that one more time?
Strike! Yo, that's a good reference. What?
He literally did a drill strike on him. But Pedro, you're probably more familiar with it. When Naka mentioned in interviews that he read a particular book to prepare for making the story for this game.
Yes,
what was that one he read?
But he read a book on psychology, apparently, to quote unquote because Square executives told him, well, actually, Naka-san, the philosophy of our company is to tell good stories to help with people's good mental health and stuff, or something along those lines. So you have to tell some kind of nice, good, wholesome story in this thing. And reluctantly, he went on to read a book on psychology, and that's why the books, and that's why the storylines in this game revolve around some kind of mental problem, or some kind of depression, or you get the gist of it.
Either Naka read it haphazardly, or the book was shit.
Remember, Shiroi, he was told to so yeah, he did read it reluctantly. So so what you're seeing is basically a half-ass attempt. Because he wanted to focus strictly on the gameplay. Because if you play Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, that's kind of a game where also the storyline is just there as an excuse for the gameplay. Naka doesn't really care about stories in games.
I only played that on Sega Superstar.
It shows because the person who wrote the novel wasn't even Naka himself.
It's like I said, Naka's almost on my wavelength, but gets the message, but gets my views again. I know he didn't aim it specifically at me, but he just gets it mixed up. I meant to make gameplay more important than the story, not get rid of the story almost altogether.
I think what you mean to say this, I think if you allow me, is don't have the story undermine the gameplay at any point, because the gameplay should be the number one thing that makes a game a game. Like, you can have a great story. Again, plenty of games have great stories, but you should not let the story get in the way of the gameplay. I guess that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I know. Otherwise we end up with stuff like MGS4, where you can barely play the game half the time.
How about
Yeah,
you gonna
70
say the Order 1886?
Well, it's interesting you say that, Liz, because MGS4 is 70% movie, 30% game, and MGS5 is the opposite, where it's 70% game and 30% movie. So
We could have it so, you
50-50, yeah.
You have a good story and great gameplay and have them intersect, except they couldn't even do that right here.
It's one of those things. Well, yeah, definitely. Obviously, the ideal ratio, Shiroi, would be 50-50. Obviously, that goes without saying.
I'd say, honestly, 60-40 with the 60 going for the gameplay. Because it is a video game.
How about this? Well, how about this? I will argue, like, the best video games to me are the ones where the story and the gameplay are working in perfect unison. Look at a game like Shadow of the Colossus or Last Guardian, where there's barely, if any, cutscenes in those games. The story is mostly told via the gameplay. There
are also some cases where literally you could, consider the gameplay part of the story. But I use an example like Crash Bandicoot 1. Like, yeah, maybe some may sort of roll their eyes at it, but I honestly consider Crash 1 storytelling to be in the level design itself, with how you see certain areas to come in the background of levels that you're going about here and there. Again, it's something I've always kind of missed in Crash 2 and 3 whenever going back to those games.
Yeah.
Like, Crash 1 just always has that epic sense to me that was missing in 2 and 3, mainly because those were just hub worlds where you could choose the levels in any area, so it wouldn't always make as much sense to foreshadow other levels.
That's why I was very praising in our playthrough of the kingdom building mechanics of Ni no Kuni 2, because it allows the player to literally go through the entire process of creating Evan's new kingdom himself, so he can again, the gameplay is perfectly reflecting what the story is supposed to be doing. That way you get to be invested in this new kingdom in the same way that Evan is, because you are the one building it, the player, not just Evan. So again, it's all about being a good developer that knows what he's doing. But and as you probably already noticed, by the way, yes, the more this game goes along, the more Balan stages are there in each level. We've already done 3 by this in this one stage, because you haven't
And they're all the
noticed.
same.
Well, sure. One has Balan fighting Lance, actually. The bad guy of this game.
Yeah, but that's a thing, Joe. But even those start to become repetitive, because you just see the same animations over and over, though.
I think Jova's being sarcastic.
Are you, Jova? Okay, then.
Yes. Like, I mean...
No, not more giant people, no. Please, no.
Honestly, shouldn't you just be used to it at this point?
But it's scary.
Well, true, yeah, okay. Some designs can seem actually a bit uncanny in this game. Some more than others, too. Don't get me wrong, obviously all the humans look relatively cartoony, but some look uncanny compared to others.
Basically, Shiro's theory is that Naka made this game for people who have a fetish for giant women.
I said who like giant women, I didn't say a
All
fetish.
I want to do is see through a giant
No. Hold on, Shiro. Allow me to correct you right there, because I have even
I'm
footage.
pretty sure I didn't say fetish.
No. Well, okay. You didn't say fetish, Shiro.
Yeah.
Grant you. But when I was scared in stage 3, you specifically said, and I quote, "Maybe they're assuming you like giant women."
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you didn't say the word fetish, but that the way you put that, kind of implies.
Okay, that was the bit I was contesting, that I said it was a fetish. So.
You didn't say the word, but you did leave room for the imagination there.
Honestly,
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
and yet it's probably more imagination than was put in this game. Seriously, of all the levels
Okay.
they had, not one single
actually like
Wild
this
West
stage.
one.
Well, Jova, I'm gonna have to disagree with you there. Visually, there's a lot of imagination, I will argue, in this game. Again, no, Oshima still got it. I will say that.
Okay. I should probably reiterate. Yes, there is imagination in the different levels and whatnot, but the actual gameplay does
that-
not feel that imaginative.
Oh no,
in
that
sense, to
definitely,
clarify.
definitely. That's practically undeniable.
That said, though, I'm disappointed. All of these different level tropes in not one Wild West setting. For shame.
Or even a pirate setting.
Yeah, that too. I mean, again, okay, don't get me wrong. The levels are varied and whatnot, but there are some times where I do feel that they don't go as far out as they could have.
You'll enjoy a hat in time, Jova.
I thought you
Yes.
already played it.
Have you?
I've played bits of it, but not the
Oh,
whole
okay.
thing. But yeah,
What's
I'll
wrong
say
with
this.
you?
Dad, I've got a lot of games on my backlog is the problem. And I'm just not...
Same.
That sounds like a you problem.
Well,
That's a
I also
problem
have a lot of
practically
games
all
on
Well-
my
of us
backlog.
have.
well, actually,
I'll like you. I'm built different.
Deji, I'm actually glad that I hold off because recently the game got an update so I can play it in 4K 60 on my PS5. So
That too, yeah.
I'm actually glad that I waited. And now I can play it on a console and in optimum circumstances.
Same for me. Honestly, I go to the school of thought of letting a game sit there for a bit before I get into it, especially if that means that I get a much better version of the game later down the line.
So how are you enjoying the Great Ace Attorney then?
Well, we already have the
Wonderful.
optimum version of that, Dej.
You,
I'm just like, no, never.
Yeah.
You know what? Never mind.
Des, that's actually the ironic thing, though. Sure, waiting for Great Ace Attorney to get localized was agonizing, but going off of things, apparently we have the best possible experience. Both games
Hold on,
packaged
Jova.
together.
I'm gonna have to interrupt you. One of the Tims put himself on the wheel willingly.
Wow.
Yay!
Don't you see
Great.
that?
Up
Lenny?
and
then
he
yeeted himself.
and he jumped off.
Oh no! Anyway,
He literally yeeted himself. Good God.
Anyway,
That happened. All right, everybody.
That said, though,
Tune in
that
next
said, though, this
time
should be
where
a
we
good
finish.
sign of- oh.
Tune in next time where we finish chapter 10.
Yeah, this should be a good sign of how longer the levels are getting at this point. One half of a level was enough to now fill a part. Well, okay, there was that in the Fox box, but again, things are about to heat up, and not
Which I
always
was
in the good way.
Yeah.
I wish I was watching the Fox box.
All right. See you then.
see ya.
Yeah.